Hi, I'm Christine Trumbull, and this is Basecamp, where we help you clear the overwhelm and grow your business to the next level.
Good morning, everyone. This is Christine Trumbull with Coaching the Climb, and you are in Basecamp. I, again, hope everyone, I've got to stop saying this. I just naturally put it on record. I hope you had a good weekend. Okay, with that being said, today is, we are in the second week of February, and the first quarter is marching along the way it always does. And a lot of statistics have come out from the previous year, the previous 2 or 3 years in regards to business related statistics and revenue and business growth across the country. And this is not related to COVID. So, and some of these statistics, I've been following them for several years, and some of them are very startling. And so what I decided as I was reading these over the weekend, what I've decided is for February and March, the last 2 months of the first quarter, we are going to talk about why businesses fail, struggle, stumble, and don't get anywhere. And we're going to talk about the harsh realities and then what you can do to get past those statistics so that you're not one of those statistics. But first, if you have not yet, go to www.coachingtheclimb.com and download the free. Oh, all the bells and whistles are going off. Download the free ebook, The 7 Steps to Growing Your Business. Lots of good information in there. And you can join the free Facebook group, Coaching the Climb. Just request to join that. And that's where you can have immediate access to me and ask me whatever questions you want. And, I'm happy to help anybody. I have no issues with that. So ask away. And I'm going to test the technology. Now, mind you, for some reason this morning, my brain cells decided, hey, let's have coffee. I haven't had coffee in probably 3 weeks. And for some reason, all of a sudden, so if I start talking really fast, drop a comment and let me know. I am using StreamYard. So I know in the group, you may have to let me accept the StreamYard permissions in order to drop comments. And some of the destinations you can't comment. So I apologize. I will come back to you afterwards and answer any questions that you may have. Now, I'm going to test the technology here, and I'm going to try to share my screen. And I'm fairly certain, hopefully you see this. Because there's some information that, let's see. Okay, so I'm going to share these statistics with you. These are some very startling and disappointing statistics. So there are 30.2 million firms or businesses in the United States, and I'm only keeping this to the United States. Firms with no employees, which is the predominant number of businesses in the United States. The majority of businesses in the United States do not have employees. They have an average annual revenue of almost $47,000. That's sad. Firm owners who are employed by their own business only, so that means the business is paying the owner, writing the owner a paycheck, and that person, he or she, is only getting an average of $50,000 a year. So my question is, why are we doing that? We can go get a job and make that much money and have a whole lot less stress. In one study, 82% of businesses that failed cited a lack of cash flow as a factor in their demise. That number is specifically pre-COVID. I did not want COVID to enhance these numbers, or the word just left me. I did not want the pandemic to affect the numbers that I was bringing to you. So these numbers are not including, the pandemic. So that's just, these numbers are not where business owners should be. Only 7%, think about that, 7% of businesses in the United States make $1 million or more in revenue. 54% of them make less than $100,000 a year. Really? Again, Why are we doing this? 86.3% of the owners make less than $100,000 a year. So again, having a business is not easy. And now we're not making money at it. That's just not an option. This is not why we got into this. This is not why, this is not going to create our dreams. None of that fits with the reasons why we started business, created our business, went into business. So why do we have this problem? Well, it's about complexity. And you can go on my website and you can find this video. I did a whole video on this, but I'm going to do it real quick for you right now. It's about complexity. Remember when you started your business and it was you and your spouse or you and your assistant, and you only had two people and you had two levels of complexity, just you and that person. And if you're married or you have a partner, you know that communication between two people can sometimes be challenging. Now add a third person to it. This one right here, okay? It's a vendor, it's a customer or client, or it's an employee. It can be any one of those, okay? But now you've got 6 levels of communication going back and forth between these people, okay? So now your complexity just grew, okay, by a third, 2/3, a third. Oh boy, more caffeine. Now add a fourth person. Okay. And that could be, again, let's say the third person is a customer, and let's say this person is a vendor. Okay. Now you have grown exponentially by 400%, 400 and some odd percent, to a level of 24 different directions of complexity just by adding a fourth person. Now, if you have, the average firm has somewhere around 5 to 7, or if you can imagine why you can't, it used to be easier when it was just you and this other person, or it was just you and the virtual assistant or whatever, you and your spouse. And now you start adding people, and you start, your level of complexity and communication grows exponentially. So it becomes much more difficult. All of those barriers start coming up. And what are those barriers? Why do firms fail? There's 3 reasons. Leadership has to be able, the firm has to be able to find leaders and put them in the organization who can delegate, predict, and lead. These are, you're not going to, when you start getting into 3 and 5 and 7 and 12 and then 50 and more, if you do not have people who can lead and delegate, and I'm not talking about managing, I'm talking about leading, then your staff is not going to know, they're not going to have anybody to follow, and they're not going to be able to produce and be efficient and do the things. They're not going to be able to get you to your goals. You have to have a scalable infrastructure. What does that mean? That means systems and structures, okay? Both in physical and in organizational. You have to have those systems that are going to make things efficient. They're going to make things routine so that people can just do what they're supposed to do the way it needs to be done in order to keep the train moving on the same track. Remember, I talk about this all the time. You're on this train going that way, and they're on that train going that way. And guess what? The company is not going to get to where it's supposed to go. Systems, a scalable infrastructure keeps everybody on the same train going on the same track. Okay. And then marketing. You have to have an effective marketing function to attract new customers and meet the competitive pressure as you grow, because as you grow, the competition gets even more stiff. It gets more difficult. Innovation is very difficult. And attracting, it costs more to bring on a new customer than it does to keep a customer. So you have to have a very effective marketing machine in order to consistently attract those new customers to drive that growth. Okay. Creating that, sustaining that, and again, making sure your people are on the same track as you are is not something that just happens overnight and it doesn't come naturally. It's something that actually has to be created and produced and then shared with your staff. So these are the 3 barriers. hopefully that worked, to why firms end up in those statistics that I spoke of at the very beginning. So for February and March, we're going to continue to have these conversations. I'm going to dive even deeper into what you can do to get away from those 3 barriers and how you can consistently and sustainably grow and work past those barriers so that your firm doesn't end up being one of those statistics that just stumbled and fell and rolled down the hill. Okay, so have a fantastic week. I hope this was helpful, and drop your comments and questions below. Thank you. Bye.